I tread the roads of humiliation. Taking licks and getting
Good morning, Grenada. It is another show of Good Morning Grenada, right here on K105.5 FM and GBN TV. Good morning to you. It's so good to be in your company this morning. I am Chrislyn, Lashington, or Missy Chrissy in your company. We're going all the way until 8 a.m. with this show today. And today is Thursday. I'm going to call it Throwback Thursday. You'll see why, or you'll hear why. And you're probably hearing why in the background. From a jam where you're hearing I Was Born a Winner. I like this song. This is a good song for us to start off our day, right? It is the 27th of March, 2025, so we're moving along swiftly. I know some people are excited for month end, right? Tomorrow. And in fact, tomorrow, the police, they are launching their brand new headquarters on the Carnage. So I know there's going to be lots of pomp and flair as they close the office on Fort George and move over with a parade and ceremony over to the Carnage. Reminding you too that tomorrow there will be specific traffic, changes in traffic in the city of St. George, all right? So from 9 a.m. to midnight, you will not be able to drive onto the Carnage between Spice Isle Imaging and its intersection with Hughes Street. So that area, that little block will be blocked off for the celebrations. However, you're still able to access Hughes Street, and you can, if you come down Hughes Street, you will be able to turn right only until 4 p.m. and then perhaps after about 6 p.m. when the ceremony is over, all right? So if you're heading into town tomorrow, by 9, you definitely want to perhaps take the Lothers Lane option because you won't be able to travel all the way through the Carnage towards Sendall Tunnel, all right? So listen, it is check-in time. I want to know where you're tuning in from. Let me know. You can send us a message on the WhatsApp. The number is 435-2041. What you eating for breakfast too? I want a mako. What's going on? What you eating for breakfast? I have a sapodilla already. I've already lined up my tea. I'm sipping on my tea. And I'm excited to dive into something a bit more solid, perhaps after the program is through. You can always tune in as well live on the Facebook page, Grenada Broadcasting Network, and our YouTube page as well, GBN.
I am not alone. Whoa, whoa.
And we're going to dive into our quote for today. Although I feel like the quote should be, I was born a winner, right? We could take that as our mantra, our affirmation in the morning. I like to start off the morning with some good vibe, set the tone for the day really by how you start off your day. So the quote for today is, small acts of kindness create ripples of change. Never underestimate the power of a good deed. So, small acts of kindness create ripples of change. Never underestimate the power of a good deed. And our prayer for today, dear God, thank you for the opportunities to bring light into the lives of others. May my words be kind, my actions be meaningful, and my heart be open to those in need. Help me walk in purpose, spreading love and positivity wherever I go. Amen. And that is how we're starting off the day right here on Good Morning Grenada. And as always, we are going to expand your vocabulary today with a new word that you can add to your your repertoire, all right? So let's pull up the word for today, Thursday, the 27th of March, 2025. And the time now is just about 21 minutes on to 7 o'clock. So we are also going to be giving you the morning edition of the news, the weather forecast, and then some good conversation. And yes, we will be opening up the phone lines as well today. So the word of the day is auspicious. Auspicious. It's spelled AUSPICIOUS. 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 And this means conducive to success, favorable. Auspicious. Now let's use the word auspicious in a sentence. The clear skies made it an auspicious day for the picnic. The clear skies made it an auspicious day for the picnic. Auspicious. So let's use the word auspicious today somehow, and I am excited to see how you use it as well. So if you're online, you could use auspicious in a sentence, or you can send me in the WhatsApp chat as well, 435-2041. And just looking in to see who is locked in already. We have Rico saying good morning. Joanne is saying good morning, Missy Chrissy, dedicated listeners and viewers. Happy and blessed day, everyone. Thanks for sharing some good cheer. And Sylvina is saying, good morning, Missy Chrissy. Blessed day to you. Wendy Williams says, Carriacou in the house. Good morning to Carriacou, Petit Martinique, everyone on the Sister Isle. So good to have you locked in. Good morning to Lydia. And this person's name is Destined to Win Overcomer. I like that name. I like that name. The affirmation is the name. And he or she is saying, blessings morning to everyone. Wishing you a wonderful and very productive day. Productive day indeed, you know. It's going to be a good one, and I know those of you in the tourism industry are a little excited about today because we do have a big ship coming, big ship sailing on the ocean, right? We have a large cruise ship coming in today. Mein Schiff 2 is coming in, and it's scheduled to arrive 7:30 a.m. and depart at 7 p.m. today, Thursday, March 27th, carrying 2,894 passengers, all right? And that's from TUI Cruises. So look out for that one. And I know all our taxi drivers, all our, our spice and craft vendors, beach chairs. Listen, I went on the beach one time during the day, and the layers of tourists, cruise visitors on those beach chairs, I must say, they are enjoying our island, and I know that we're also happy to share with them as well. It's a cultural exchange, right? Now, also, this day has some sort of significance for sure. It is March 27th, and it is actually dedicated as World Theatre Day. Didn't know that. I just learned that today as I was doing some research for the program. And World Theatre Day is a global celebration, and it is, celebrating the power of the performing arts to inspire, educate, and bring people together. So this was actually established way back in 1961 by the International Theatre Institute. And it really is about highlighting the cultural importance of theatre and the role it plays in storytelling, heritage, and artistic expression. So happy World Theatre Day to all my theatre groups, all my actors and actresses. I think I could officially call myself an actor now. Last year, while we were celebrating our 50th anniversary of independence, I acted in a play called Journey to Gold by Ricardo Keynes Douglas. So I think I'm gonna add that to my resume now, right? And acting really is a fun career. It's a fun, part of expression. You're able to tap into a different part of yourself and express differently, learn about perhaps a different type of life, and really tap deep into yourself in order to portray it. So, and I must say, our storytellers, I have to say special good morning and big up to Ricardo Keynes Douglas. We also have Christopher DeRiggs, Chris DeRiggs with the Heritage Theatre Company, and we have Urias Peters as well, Labu Khan, and all the others doing a fantastic job in Grenada. Big up to you, and this is the day we celebrate World Theatre Day. Listen, at this point in time, we are gearing up for the morning edition of the news, so you definitely want to lock it and leave it right here on K105 GBN TV, where we are going to be taking a quick break and come back with the morning edition of the news. And of course, reminding you to let everyone know you're tuned in to K105 GBN TV in the morning time. So we will take this quick break and we will be right back.
Celebrate with us. It's next up.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union introduces its new digital platform, managing your finances at any time from anywhere.
As a part-time student, balancing work and studies can be a real challenge. But with GCCU's digital app, these worries are no more. My parents can now remotely transfer funds to my account and I can check my balance at any time, giving me the freedom to achieve my goals.
My days can be long and tedious. With this app, I can ensure my loan is paid on time, transfer funds to someone else's account, and check my balances. I don't have to rush to do business during my lunch hour or after work anymore.
With this app, I can request checks to pay my suppliers, letters for my business transactions. I don't have to leave my farm to go stand in line.
The Grenville Credit Union digital platform. It's convenient and secure banking right at your fingertips. Download the app today from the Play Store or App Store or call 442-8602, 459-4325 or 416-8467 for further information.
Is the GBN Morning News for today, Thursday, the 27th of March, 2025. Coming up in the news, economic expert concerned about the U.S. policy's impact on Grenada's revenue inflows from the Citizenship by Investment program. In the region, Trump strips Caribbean migrants of parole protections. Internationally, Brazil's Bolsonaro ordered to stand trial for attempted coup. And in sports, Trinidad's Wilson cut from ICC panel of elite umpires. Details right after this message.
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on GBN Television 711 K105 FM, our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Kaiso Talk. Meet the Kaisonians, hear their stories, feel the vibes. Kaiso Talk, Wednesdays 8:30 p.m. Compliments for Grenville Credit Union.
And president of the Caribbean Community CARICOM private sector organization, Dr. Patrick Antoine, is concerned about the possible impact U.S. executive actions can have on Grenada's just past $1.9 billion budget. Dr. Antoine said one of his concerns is Grenada's revenue inflows from the Citizenship by Investment program. But he also sees a glimmer of hope within the budget regarding the CBI that he supports. And we will just hear a clip from Dr.
What
Antoine.
I've seen in the budget with the government migration agency, giving a signal that they are prepared to make concessions for projects that are domestic. That is, in fact, a good signal. We need to do that now more than ever in terms of driving a lot of these things internally, so we have a greater portfolio of projects with greater choice that persons can invest in, not just based solely on getting the sovereign passport of our country, but because it is also something that will give them some good investment returns. So I think that is one good signal I've seen in the budget, yes. But as I've said before, I do have some concerns on the revenue side. And of course, on the revenue side, if we're not getting the sort of yield on the revenue side, we may have to look at how we deal with the expenditure side. And there's nothing wrong with a government recognizing that, you know, the revenue inflows are not as they expected, and recalibrating on the expenditure side. It's all part of the economic budgeting that governments and countries have to do from time to time.
Dr. Antoine is encouraging the government to be prudent and diligent to ensure greater productivity, improved tourism products, and produce more. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didacus Jules, recognizing the sweeping changes in U.S. policies, said this moment brings an opportunity for deepening the region's economic union. Addressing the fourth meeting of the OECS Economic Affairs Council in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from March 25th to 26th, Dr. Jules said that in this time of geopolitical upheaval, introduced by a wave of executive actions on trade, immigration, and foreign assistance, the impact will be felt through the OECS and will hit consumers hardest.
These developments are not distant tremors. They are seismic shifts demanding an immediate and strategic response. As small economies, we are disproportionately exposed to global shocks and endure their effects far longer. But even in our smallness, we are not powerless. In fact, the urgency of the moment compels us to accelerate the deepening of our economic union as a shield against these unfolding externalities. To safeguard our future, we must build resilience not just to climate and crisis, but to economic volatility.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines Finance, Economic Planning and Information Minister Camilo Gonzalez said integration is the OECS's strongest response to present vulnerabilities.
It is a fact that one of our greatest vulnerabilities is the small size of our individual countries. It follows, therefore, that the best way to reduce this vulnerability is to become larger. And the only way that tiny individual islands can become larger is to accelerate the speed, scope, and depth of our regional integration. Integration has always been our shield against external shocks, born from the understanding that we stand stronger together than we do alone. In this era of great power isolationism and retrograde colonialism, integration is the OECS's strongest response.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. will continue with international aid, but those provisions must be aligned with U.S. policies. This was one of his pronouncements in Jamaica yesterday.
The United States is not getting out of the aid business. We are going to be providing foreign aid. The difference is we want to provide foreign aid in a way that is strategically aligned with our foreign policy priorities and the priorities of our host countries and our nation states that we're partners with. In essence, how that would work, how it has worked in the past, is USAID or some other entity would come into a country and say, this is what we think you need. And then they go out and hire an NGO that maybe are the ones that convinced them that that's what you need, and they give them a bunch of money and they come into the country and they do things. Some of these programs are fine. They're nice things. Other times, not so much. Nonetheless, that's how it used to be. How we want it to be in the future is that our embassies are involved with the host government, our hosts, our partners, and we ask them, what are your needs? And we provide assistance geared towards the needs of the nation states that are hosting us and that we're partnering with.
He was asked about the U.S. policy relating to the Cuban medical missions, and this was his response.
Yeah, I think the first thing is to separate medical from the labor issues that we are pointing to. Okay, this is not about doctors. Okay, this is not about the provision of medical assistance. We have no problem with medical assistance. We have no problem with doctors. We have a problem, and I'm not speaking about Jamaica. We've discussed this today about, following international labor standards and the like, but I'm just talking about this program in general, how it's operated around the world. And how it's operated around the world is that basically the doctors are not paid. In many other parts of the world, the doctors are not paid. You pay the Cuban government. The Cuban government decides how much of anything to give them. They take away their passports. They basically operate as forced labor in many places. Now, there are places that have better labor standards. Perhaps Jamaica is one of those, and that's fine. But I'm describing generally what the program has been. It has operated in that way in many parts of the world and placed these people in tremendous danger. And so I think we can all agree that the trafficking in labor, be they doctors or farm workers, is not something that we would want to be supportive of, and we find that to be an egregious practice on the part of the Cuban regime.
The Ministry of Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, along with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Commission, and other key regional and international partners, are set to host the third Caribbean NDC Investment Forum and Marketplace from March 31st to April 2nd at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort in Grenada. This premier event will bring together policymakers, private sector leaders, development agencies, and investors to accelerate financing for climate action and resilience building in the Caribbean. Themed Investing in Climate Action for a Resilient Future, the Investment Forum will build on the successes of previous forums held in St. Lucia in 2018 and 2022, respectively. As the region works towards implementing second-generation nationally determined contributions, or NDCs, under the Paris Agreement, this forum will serve as a vital platform to foster partnerships, share best practices, and mobilize financing for sustainable development. After an impressive display of knowledge and skill, Presentation Brothers College, Grenville Secondary School, and Hillsborough Secondary School have secured their places in the national finals of the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council Secondary School Zonal Competitions for the 2025 National Nutrition Quiz. These schools will face off against the defending champions Bishop's College in the highly anticipated final showdown. The 2025 National Nutrition Quiz Finals will take place on April 29th at the Grenada Youth Center in Montrouge. And now we head over to regional news. United States President Donald Trump has revoked the humanitarian parole program known as the CHNV program for the people of Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. President and Chief Executive Officer of the New York Immigration Coalition said this decision will categorically end the protection and legal status of 530,000 people who arrived in the United States under parole status. He said the CHNV program allowed qualified nationals from these countries to live and work in the U.S. through sponsorship by a U.S. citizen or permanent resident for 2 years. He also said the program will end on April 24th, 2025, when those in the program will lose status and work authorization. Looking further afield internationally, Brazil's Supreme Court on Wednesday ordered far-right ex-president Jair Bolsonaro to stand trial on charges of plotting a coup after losing elections in 2022. The trial will be the first of an ex-leader accused of attempting to take power by force since Brazil's return to democracy in 1985 after 2 decades of military dictatorship. A 5-judge panel of the Supreme Court voted unanimously to put Bolsonaro on trial. He was not in court for the ruling, but in comments to reporters after the announcement, slammed the allegations as unfounded. If convicted, the 70-year-old former Army captain, who had nurtured hopes of making a comeback in elections this next year, risks a jail term of over 40 years. Bolsonaro, who served a single term from 2019 to 2022, is accused of leading a criminal organization that conspired to keep him in power, regardless of the outcome of the 2022 election. He lost to leftist rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva by a razor-thin margin. Russia has said some Western sanctions must be lifted before it begins a maritime ceasefire with Ukraine. Within hours of the U.S. announcing the two sides had agreed to halt strikes in the Black Sea in separate deals, the Kremlin said it would only take place once sanctions on a number of Russian banks were lifted. The demands include revoking sanctions on the State Agricultural Bank and restoring the firm's access to the SWIFT international payment system. A landmark inquiry has found the South Korean government's committed numerous human rights violations over decades in a controversial program that sent at least 170,000 children and babies abroad for adoption. It said the government's lack of oversight enabled the mass exportation of children by private agencies that were driven by profit and found examples of fraud, falsified records, and coercion. Since the 1950s, South Korea has sent more children abroad for adoption than any other country, with most sent to Western countries. South Korea has since moved to tighten its adoption processes. That's your international news. Sports is up next. Good morning, sporting fans. Trinidad and Tobago's international cricket umpire Joel Wilson has been removed from the International Cricket Council's ICC elite panel of umpires. The 58-year-old Wilson, who has umpired in 67 test matches, 140 one-day internationals, and 71 2020 internationals, is sidelined along with England's Michael Gove. Wilson was the lone umpire from the region selected as a match official for the recently concluded ICC Men's Champions Trophy. Wilson and Gove have made way for Palika and Alex Wharf. That's the sports. Stay with us for the weather forecast and then a recap of the headlines.
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on GBN Television 711 K105 FM, our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Kaiso Talk. Meet the Kaisonians, hear their stories, feel the vibes. Kaiso Talk, Wednesdays 8:30 p.m. Compliments for Grenville Credit Union.
Are locked into the meteorological office at the Morris Bishop International Airport. Good morning. Good morning. You are live from the Met office.
Good morning to you and good morning, listeners. Here is the weather for today, Thursday the 27th of March 2025, as recorded at the Morris Bishop International Airport. It is currently cloudy with showers. Winds are coming from the east at 14 miles per hour. Barometric pressure is 1015.2 millibars, which is above normal and rising and falling. Present temperature is 23.8 degrees Celsius and relative humidity 93%. Yesterday's max was 30 degrees Celsius and the minimum last night 23.1 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, 2.6 millimeters of rainfall was recorded, which brings the total for the month so far to 26.5 millimeters. And now for the public forecast for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique Valley for today and tonight. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy, becoming fair at times with brief isolated showers, with an increasing cloud cover and showers overnight. Today's max will be 30 degrees Celsius with winds easterly to southeasterly at 14 to 24 miles per hour. Seas will be moderate to rough with waves 6 to 8 feet in northeasterly to easterly swells. Hence, a marine advisory remains in effect. Low tide will be at 8 a.m. and high tide at 2 p.m. Sunset will be at 6:18 and sunrise at 6:06. Just to repeat the public forecast for today and tonight, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy, becoming fair at times, with brief isolated showers, with an increase in cloud cover and showers overnight. From the forecast at Scanning Bishop International Airport, I'm Jonathan Price. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jonathan, for that weather update. And now, a recap of the headlines. Economic expert concerned about the U.S. policy's impact on Grenada's revenue inflows from the Citizenship by Investment program. In the region, Trump strips Caribbean migrants of parole protections. Internationally, Brazil's Bolsonaro ordered to stand trial for attempted coup. And in sports, Trinidad's Wilson cut from ICC panel of elite umpires. That's the morning edition of news for today, Thursday, March 27th, 2025. On behalf of the entire news department, I am Chrislyn Lashington.
Grenada, are you looking for locally made jewelries, bags, arts and crafts, paintings, vegetables, food, and much more? Then come on down on Saturday, March 29th to the GIDC SIEP Expo from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Camahan Park, Grenada, St. George. It will be an all-day event with fun activities for the kids, face painting, bouncy castle, live band, and local artists. Come out and support our entrepreneurs. View it, like it, buy it. Support local.
In Grenada, sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. They teach discipline, teamwork, and resilience. They inspire the next generation to push boundaries and chase excellence. That's why the Investment Migration Agency of Grenada is proud to support sports initiatives as part of our commitment to youth and national development. When we invest in sports programs, we invest in the future. We invest in the health and well-being of our youth, and we invest in broadening Grenada's reach, proudly connecting our athletes, our talent, and our nation to a global community. Together, we all go further. The Investment Migration Agency, unlocking the possibilities.
Served Grenada for decades, we are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire and accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada, St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
How am I supposed to finish cooking like this? I wonder if climate change is behind all these water shortages. Time to think about the future. It's really time to invest in a proper water storage tank, you know. What water tanks you guys have available?
We have 450 gallons for a family of 3, 800 gallons for a family of 5, and 1,000 gallons for a family of 7. Purchasing any of these tanks will ensure that you have enough water stored.
Don't be like me and wait until you're out of water. Be smart. Be prepared. Invest in a proper water storage tank today.
notice is hereby given that the 96th Annual General Meeting of Shareholders of the Grenada Building and Loan Association will be held virtually on Zoom as well as at the Presbyterian Church, Granitang Road, St. George's on Wednesday, April 2nd, commencing at 4:30 p.m. Shareholders are required to RSVP their attendance by contacting the association's office on 440-2108 or 459-2103 or by emailing info@grenadabla.com. Virtual meeting details will be made available prior to the meeting. Copies of the director's report and financial statements may be obtained by members upon application to the secretary or manager at the office of the association or via email.
ACB's me start, manage, expand. Don't call me small. I'm dreaming big. I'm gonna have it all. ACB's me start, manage, expand. Taking on all my competition, got the whole bank's attention. ACB, best financial solution. My business has a good reputation. Ready for success? Call us at 444-4919 or visit us at acbonline.com to learn more. Start, manage, expand your business today.
In a world driven by digital innovation, our future is defined by connectivity and communication, shaping how we learn, work, and interact. But what safeguards our digital rights? The Electronic Communications or EC Bill will. The EC Bill ensures rights such as improved quality of service, data privacy and security, support for universal service and access, and complaint resolution are protected, with a tribunal to resolve disputes. This is consumer protection. The EC Bill also ensures a competitive environment for electronic communications companies to enter the market. There are many other benefits of the EC Bill. ECTEL is paving the way for a fair, secure, and inclusive digital society for our contracting states.
ECTEL and the NTRCs, digitally transforming our space together.
Agritech Limited Grenada is your one-stop shop for all your farming needs. We provide seeds and seedlings, pesticides, fertilizers, irrigation and water management systems, veterinary products, and a wide range of agricultural products and implements. Our staff is knowledgeable and ready to serve you. Call us on 435-9677 or 440-4460 or visit us in Happy Hill, St. George. We are open Monday to Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Agritech Limited Grenada. Come grow with us.
Looking to shop online from your favorite stores like Amazon and Shein? With GPC Global, it's never been easier. Get your very own US address and shop from around the world. With GPC Global, you can order the latest trends and must-have items, all delivered straight to Grenada to your closest post office for your pickup. We offer the cheapest rates and our service is reliable and quick. No more waiting for weeks for your packages. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Join the Grenada Postal family today and start shopping smarter. Visit us online at www.grenadapostal.com or call us on 437-POST. That's 437-7678. GPC Global, your gateway to the world.
Shop with confidence at Quartz. Get the lowest prices guaranteed. Get appliances, furniture, electronics, and so much more. If you find a lower price on any other products elsewhere, we'll match the price. Plus, we'll give you back 110% of the difference. Shop with confidence only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Special conditions apply.
My name is Pianki Toussaint. I am a proud representative of the Maggie brand and by extension Bryden and Miners. And I'm here to tell you that we are very excited to be once again the title sponsor of the GBN Maggie King of the Grill. This is an event that we have partnered with for well over a decade. It's a family fun environment. It's a great way to taste the culinary exploits of some of Grenada's finest chefs. And I'm telling you, if you're not there, you're missing out on something grand, right? This is something that our brand, Maggie, a household name, your culinary partner, is very, very happy to be a part of. And you'll get to see some exciting, not just see, but also taste some delicious and exciting things from us on that day as well. So we are looking forward to having you at the GBN Maggie King of the Grill. See you there.
Get ready, Grenada. The Maggie King of the Grill is back and bigger than ever. On Saturday, June 7th, Monroe's playing field transforms into the ultimate battleground for grill masters. Think you got what it takes? Then fire up those grills and show your skills. Registration closes Friday, April the 11th. So don't miss your chance to compete for that sizzling prize and bragging rights. It's food, fun, and flavor, all powered by Maggie. To register, call 407-8458. Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules. See you there.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It is 7:15 on this lovely Thursday morning, the 27th of March 2025. And I told you earlier on, it's Throwback Thursday, and you could hear it in the music, right? I'm giving you all a good little throwback vibe. A while ago, you heard Short Breeze, Spice Island Summer, and now Flying Cloud. This song takes me right back to my childhood. But right now, we are getting into a special conversation, and this is to do with the police recruitment drive. Joining me in studio this morning, we have Tashana Smart. She is the Human Resource Manager at the Royal Grenada Police Force, as well as Inspector Chris Campbell, who is the acting commandant of the training school for the Royal Grenada Police Force. Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Grenada.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know it's an exciting time for you because the headquarters is being opened tomorrow. So are your offices going to be there as well, or you just are not? I don't know where all the offices are.
Okay, so it's we're in already the police headquarters now. We have 3 offices that would be there. We'd have the police headquarters. It would be the Community Relations Department and the Criminal Records Office. So these are the 3 departments that would be housed in that building.
Lovely, lovely. And now we're talking about, recruiting police officers. And tell us a little bit about the role of the police in the community. Why do we need to have the service? What exactly does the service entail?
Thank you. All right, good morning to your adamant listeners, and morning to all our police officers who are listening at this time too. The role of police officers within the Trial and State of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petomatic is actually to maintain peace and order. All right, and so we cannot live in a community or an island where there is no law, and therefore the police is there to allow persons to have freedom, to allow persons to have peace. And that goes to nationals and non-nationals alike.
Okay, good to know. And what are some of the varying departments of the police force?
The varying departments. Well, we have regular policing, which is the uniform officer that you see on the streets that engages people. They're in traffic, they're in the central police station and other small substations throughout the Tri-Island. Then we have the plainclothes officers, which are CID. Criminal Investigation Department, and we also have persons that are in a special branch and other areas of the force where you find a special service unit, Coast Guard, Fire, and we do have a special Well, I should just mention that the fire department, the Coast Guard, and immigration are sub-departments of the RGPF under the organization of the RGPF also.
Okay. Is the prison also part of the RGPF?
The prisons, no, they are not part of the police organization. So the establishment does not comprise of the prisons.
Okay, so if you're doing training, it's completely separate.
It is separate.
Okay, good to know. So we're talking about recruitment. What are you able to share how many people are currently in the RGPF? I don't know if that's classified information. Because I'm assuming if we're recruiting is because we're looking to expand the capacity of the RGPF. So is there an ideal number that we're looking for?
Well, the RGPF has, every year we have an attrition rate where persons retire, some resign, and some are dismissed. And so because of that, annually, according to regulation, we should be doing recruitment. And therefore, the amount of persons that are leaving the organization, that is when you're going to see how much persons by the Commissioner of Police and the ACP in charge of administration will have that conversation to recognize whether it's 60 persons or whether it's 100 persons that is required for that year.
Okay, so it varies.
It varies.
You're in the human resource department, so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, just to add with what Inspector has said, the intake that we're doing now is normally for the constables. That is at the very beginning of the rank in the RGPF. So yes, I know probably it's the first time that we are on TV or radio doing this recruitment drive. It should be an ongoing process. This process, we have it in phases. So we have 5 phases. And we have the examination phase, which is our main topic today. Then we have, after that, we have the basic fitness. Then we have the vetting and associated tests. And the associated tests are, you would be doing a polygraph and psychoanalysis test. And also we will have the interview. And the last phase of that process is the medical. So throughout each phase, persons, you have to be qualified, you have to meet the requirements in order to become a recruit.
Wow, that's a lot of phases, but I'm also happy to know there's so many phases because you really want to make sure that the police officer that comes out of this is really able to take on the task.
Yes.
And now I'm looking at all the constables I see in a new light, like, wow, you went through all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. And how long is this process from examination phase to getting your badge?
It varies. It varies because you're talking about badge as enlistment of the upon completion of the training or promotion.
Oh, well, you tell me. I assumed that upon completion you mean. So you tell me what the difference.
All right.
Because I'm learning right now.
Yes. So the process when you begin the intake of candidates, it varies. Sometimes it takes at least 3 months to finally have them in the training school. Sometimes it could take a little more than that. And the training stage is for 5 to 6 months. Most times it's 6 months. And during that time, they do their training. And after the completion of that 6 months, then they are deployed to different stations throughout the island. And after maybe 2 years of rotation, the probation period ends. And they're now entitled to be promoted based on performance.
Okay. And when they're promoted, is that when they get the badge, you mean?
No.
Okay.
No. From the moment you enter into training school and you have taken the oath, then you can be given an ID card as a member of the organization.
And is that when we see, do they immediately get a red stripe? Because I know there's also a blue stripe.
Right.
Okay.
So the blue stripes are rural constables, right? They are not police under the enlistment of the organization. The red stripe comes in after they would graduate. So they're in training and they use something different, which is the khaki material, short pants. I guess maybe you would have seen them before.
Of course, we've seen, marching through the streets sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm quite interested to know a little bit more, especially about the fitness. I mean, we're going to talk about the examination for sure, but I know recently there was a viral video going around. I don't know if the person took it secretly or not, but we saw some training happening and how intense the training was. And I'm sure a lot of people were happy to see that, okay, at least it's intense training. You know, we have people who are physically fit and mentally fit to take on the task. You know, how intense is that training process?
The training is very, very intense. From the moment you enter into training school, right? You are given specific tasks, and those tasks have to be managed well. And if it's not managed well, you can breach those tasks, because from the moment of 4:30 in the morning, when you wake, you have to prepare for your PT, which is physical training. And that PT goes on until 6 o'clock. Yeah. Upon completion of the PT, you have to go prepare yourself to return for breakfast at least 6:45. Yes, breakfast is then taken. You have to be at the square by 7:45 for an inspection to be conducted on your uniform preparation, how you look. After that completion of the inspection, you have to return in class by 8:15. Right? Class goes right throughout the day until 5 or sometimes 5:15 in the evening. Right. So it's always a constant rotation of different things that must be managed throughout the course of the day. And sometimes you get people that breach, because it's not easy. If you have 40 or 60 persons training, they have to utilize the bathroom the same time, they have to utilize washrooms the same time, sink. They got to do many different things at the same time, and they need to manage themselves. And so it can be very challenging.
I know, because I'm here calculating that 15 minutes between training, personal training, and breakfast. That's 15 minutes if you want to bathe, get ready in time, as well as compete for a shower, compete for...
It's challenging.
So I guess you have the option to probably... Some may eat first, some may shower after. I don't know. I guess
everybody has to do the same thing at the
they
same
have
time.
to.
So
Oh,
they
wow!
need to work together as a team to manage themselves. And that is the importance of the training.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this training takes place in a very specific place?
Yes, SSU grounds at Point Solid. That's where the police training school is located, and also we have Camp Raymond in Grenville.
Very nice. Now, tell us about some of the things you mentioned. Class. I would like to know some of the things that they're taught. I imagine perhaps the law might be part of it.
Yes, it is the law.
Yeah, what are some of the other things?
And so administration, we do some of the administrative work. Remember, as soon as you enter into a police station, there are certain requirements of you. So you must have an idea of what these requirements are, how to conduct a statement, how to do some form of report, and all of these things are given at the school. And we have other social skills that are taught outside of policing and laws, and so it helps manage the way officers conduct themselves in terms of discipline and attitude, calmness and emotions when they're working.
Very interesting that you said calmness and emotions. I mean, emotional intelligence is so important in this day and age, and even more important when you're interacting with citizens. And most of the times you're dealing with situations that are very incensed.
Yes.
So, you know, guide us a little bit more about some of the methods perhaps that you are taught when it comes to being able to manage a situation with the public.
Okay. So we ensure that customer service is something that has been taught at the school. We ensure that emotional intelligence are taught. And there are some psychological areas that we teach also. What happens is that students are taught to be calm as much as possible when approaching almost any scenario. And do not approach with the same hype you may find persons have, and you reduce the level of confrontation that way. So yes, you may see a lot of these things happening out there where police sometimes lose their cool and so, but it's very challenging. And we try our best to teach these things so that they can remain calm and cool and collective in every given situation whenever they're out there. So the areas of emotional intelligence, we stress a lot on this, and we have visiting lecturers coming to do those things. We also have our counselors coming in to give evaluations, discuss things with them, and to create the atmosphere so that they can have this calmness when they're working.
Excellent. And, we mentioned a few phases. We talked about examination, personal training, and so forth. Tell us a little bit about the examination phase.
Well, exam is on Saturday. That's the 29th. It begins at 9 a.m. There are 3 locations, or 3 centers: the Grenada Boys Secondary School, St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School, and the St. Rose Modern Secondary Schools. So persons who are interested in becoming a police officer, they can sit the exam. An advertisement went out for applications. So even though you applied, you are still required to sit the exam. So there is a registration period that will take place from 7:30 to about 8:30, and during that period, where persons, when you enter into the center, your names will be taken and you'll be given a code. So on the exam paper, you will not be writing your name.
Okay,
you'll be
so
using
it's
the
anonymous.
code.
Okay.
Yes. So for correcting and so, then persons will not be dealing with names rather than code, because we're small.
So this is an open examination, meaning no need. There's no class before this exam.
No.
So this is, I feel I want to join.
Yes.
I literally come and do this examination.
Yes.
So there's no. Are there any tips you could give us in case we, is it just a general?
Well, it's an entry exam.
Okay.
That would, because we know that there probably would be persons who are interested, but based on requirements, we want to attract as much persons as possible, and then you start the elimination process. Yes, if you come in to do the exam, you did not succeed on the first attempt, there is always another time, right? So the exam will be a basic math test, then the use of English language. Then we have, because it's a police exam, then we have intelligence test. We have a general aptitude test, and that paper consists of different parts, different sections. So you may have one with observation, you may have a section with comprehension, then you would have judgment, so these are the kind of things. So it ranges from between 3 to 5 papers. So we are still deciding on the amount of papers that we're going to be doing for this exam, and because we're taking into consideration the timing, we do not want the exam to be that long, so that by the time you get to the last paper, you're mentally drained, and then
that could be a test in itself, right?
You're unable to
With those
score
long
reasonably, right? So this is generally what it is. First and foremost, we will have a dictation, which is very important. So a paper will be written as summary, or paragraph will be read to you, and you'll have to dictate. You will have to write.
Nice.
Yes. So that would be the very first step, and after that, we will know whether or not that you will be able to proceed to the other parts of the exam.
I appreciate I appreciate you giving us a little insights, because I know there's some people tuned in probably quite interested, and we've never, for me at least, I've never been exposed to what the requirements are. And tell us about the additional requirements. Is there an age requirement, any other thing, subjects, anything specifically we need to have in advance to this entry exam?
Well, the requirements, the main requirement, you have to be between the ages of 19 and 35. So if you're out of that range, then you will not be allowed to do the exam. We have a height. For male, the height is 5 feet 8 inches, and the female 5 feet 4 inches. So these are the mandatory requirements for taking that exam on Saturday. CXC, well, it's open, so you think that you're able to be a police officer once you go through all the other, because we have the basic requirements. First and foremost, as I said, the exam and the height and so, and that's it. Then the process goes on. If you pass the exams, then you go to the basic fitness test. If you pass, then you move on to the vetting. If you pass the vetting, you move on to the interview. If you pass the interview, you move on to the medical. So at each phase, you have to be able to meet all the requirements in each phase.
Wow.
So I'm not saying that to scare people off.
Yes.
To make them not wanting to become, but these are the requirements that is there. And also we encouraging persons to come out. You never know. Just come out, do the exam, show your interest, because there's always room for employment in the RGPF. We may not hear about recruitment process on a mass basis like that often, but there is always room, right? And then once we do this drive and the persons show their interest, every application that is received will be put into the database and it can be referred to. So you have taken the exam, it will be in our database and it can be referred to, because sometimes you talk about those with the blue stripe earlier on, they call rural constables, so then they don't go through that intense training. Okay. But you could come in and have an addition to the rural constables in the police. We refer to as civilians, so you're not a police officer, so you're a civilian. So you can come in as a civilian and you can transition into the police force. So there's all, as I said, this drive is for the constables, but within these applications, I am certain that we can find other persons that we are looking for that can fit whatever category.
Indeed. And we'll take a short break. And when we come back, I'd like to know more about life as a police officer, So we're recruiting, but what does it mean? What is the experience like? What are the opportunities for advancement? So stay with us right here. Good morning, Grenada. We'll be right back.
Boyo.
In Grenada, sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. They teach discipline, teamwork, and resilience. They inspire the next generation to push boundaries and chase excellence. That's why the Investment Migration Agency of Grenada is proud to support sports initiatives as part of our commitment to youth and national development. When we invest in sports programs, we invest in the future. We invest in the health and well-being of our youth, and we invest in broadening Grenada's reach, proudly connecting our athletes, our talent, and our nation to a global community. Together, we all go further. The Investment Migration Agency, unlocking the possibilities.
Served Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wiring accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada, St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
How am I supposed to finish cooking like this? I wonder if climate change is behind all these water shortages. Time to think about the future. It's really time to invest in a proper water storage tank, What water tanks you guys have available?
We have 450 gallons for a family of 3, 800 gallons for a family of 5, and 1,000 gallons for a family of 7. Purchasing any of these tanks will ensure that you have enough water stored.
Don't be like me and wait until you're out of water. Be smart. Be prepared. Invest in a proper water storage tank today.
Notice is hereby given that the 96th Annual General Meeting of Shareholders of the Grenada Building and Loan Association will be held virtually on Zoom as well as at the Presbyterian Church, Granitang Road, St. George's on Wednesday, April 2nd, commencing at 4:30 p.m. Shareholders are required to RSVP their attendance by contacting the association's office on 440-2108 or 459-2103 or by emailing info@grenadabla.com. Virtual meeting details will be made available prior to the meeting. Copies of the director's report and financial statements may be obtained by members upon application to the secretary or manager at the office of the association or via email.
ACB's me, start, manage, expand. Don't call me small. I'm dreaming big. I'm gonna have it all. ACB's me, start, manage, expand. Taking on all my competition, got the whole bag's attention. ACB, best financial solution. My business has a good reputation. Ready for success? Call us at 444-4919 or visit us at acbonline.com to learn more. ACB's me. Start, manage, expand your business today.
In a world driven by digital innovation, our future is defined by connectivity and communication, shaping how we learn, work, and interact. But what safeguards our digital rights? The Electronic Communications or EC Bill will. The EC Bill ensures rights such as improved quality of service, data privacy and security, support for universal service and access, and complaint resolution are protected, with a tribunal to resolve disputes. This is consumer protection. The EC Bill also ensures a competitive environment for electronic communications companies to enter the market. There are many other benefits of the EC Bill. ECTEL is paving the way for a fair, secure, and inclusive digital society for our contracting states.
ECTEL and the NTRCs, digitally transforming our space together.
Slim we finger. Now only 1 year later.
19 minutes onto the hour of 8 in the morning. We are here on Good Morning Grenada. Welcome back. We're having a conversation with the Royal Grenada Police Force. In studio with us, we have Inspector Chris Campbell, who is the acting commandant for the training school, as well as Tashana Smart, who is the human resource manager for the RGPF. Now, we were talking about the recruitment drive and the various phases that constables have to go through before they can be called a constable. And I'm quite interested in Inspector Campbell's journey through the ranks, because you're now an inspector, but what was it like for you in training school and moving up from a constable to an inspector?
Okay. So I came in the organization around 1988, so I'm giving away my age now. Okay? So I came in around 1988. A young person just came from GSS school in St. Andrews. And when I came to the training school, it was a brand new thing for me. I had no expectations in terms of persons saying to me, this is what to expect. So I walked in the halls of the training school that used to be at the Fort George. And everyone was new except about one person who was from my same village. So everyone had to make friends with each other. And from the day you got there, my first day, when I entered into the school, I came late, I arrived late. Now, the police has discipline and it should be arriving on time. So when I arrived late, I did not understand the rules and regulation that was already discussed with the other recruits. And I did not know. So I went to the window and I was looking overhead at the square where senior officers was conducting drill sessions. And the corporal in charge of drills, Mr. Stanislaus at the time, Doyle Stanislaus, saw me and he was like, hey, young man. So I waved, not realizing that those things are not permitted.
Right.
And he called me down to the square. And he said, you love drills? I said, yes, sir, yes, sir. I used to be a drills man. I used to do drills in Adventist church.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, okay, drop. Well, I'm wondering, drop? What do you mean drop?
Right.
And he shouted at me, and I was shocked. I jumped. And so I dropped down to the floor. And then he said, start pushing. Pull me. I came in here, I can't even do 10 push-ups. And it was a time where I sweat, I fell back down, and so people all looking at me. I didn't even know the senior officers. And at the end of it, I got up and I walked away, honestly. I walked away. I was angry. I didn't understand why they were doing this to me. And thank God for my aunt, who was working, selling next to NCB Bank in where Bata was in town. And she said, little boy, where you going? Because I had my little bag on my back and I walked and I was vexed, very angry. And I told her, them just giving me a sit-up, push-up, I just go behind. She said, little boy, your mother don't walk in, your father don't walk in, nobody minding you, go back to Taylor, up to training school. And I was so happy because I returned up there and for some reason they did not miss me. They did not miss that I walked out.
Okay.
And nothing came out of it. So I thank God for that. But the training changed me a lot. I came in there, I could not have ironed properly, I could not have washed properly, I did not know a lot of things, but I had to maintain all my whites in the school. White shoe, white socks, white shorts, white t-shirt. And every morning I wake up to do some PT exercises, 4:30, we don't understand why the square always wet. Rain never fall in the night, but the square wet. And so our uniforms always get dirty. As a result, we were taught to clean and wash properly, right? So it works well for me. I graduated after 6 months. I got best drill, and I went to the Central Police Station. While I was there, before too long, because of my handwriting and statement taking and report that I write and so forth, I was transferred within a year into investigation department. That's where I met Mr. Cohen, who is now the ACP these days, right? And we operated there for a while, and then I was transferred to prosecution for a course. But I did not stay on the course. While I was on that course, I was called to another course to the U.S. When I returned, I went to the Plainclothes Division Special Branch. From there, I was transferred to the Drug Squad Department. And what you find happening with all these transitions of transfers, you are learning from each department. So you are developing as a young police officer. And so at the Drug Squad Department, operations was the norm. I stayed there for 8 years. Operation was the norm. Every single day we were a family of 7. And after this, I went to the Immigration Department, another different aspect of policing again. Yeah, and so I became a supervisor there. That's where I get my first promotion. I was promoted there as a corporal. I went to Carriacou. I managed the Carriacou Department, Immigration, for 3 years. I returned to Grenada to supervise on the airport. And to be honest, I got boring. Because when I was in Carriacou before that, I did both policing and immigration work. So now I return at the airport, I am only doing immigration work, standing and supervising. I could not have dealt with that. Then I was transferred to the police training school in 2009. Up to this day, I'm still here. So that's my transition right to the organization. While I was in the training school, that's where I got my promotion up to inspector at this point. Yeah, so that's the transition, but it changes your life. My mode of dress before coming into the force was different. Now that I am in the force, when you see me with a shirt in my pants, you know I'm a police officer. And people always say, look at him. The police really is in you. So it changes you, makes you have a better discipline and respect for everyone. And I believe persons that want to take that path cannot go wrong.
Yes, quite a lovely story. Thanks so much for sharing that. I mean, I see, being a police as quite an esteemed profession. You look up to police officers in society. You are leaders in some form or fashion, and I think it's a really good profession, especially for young men. I mean, learning that discipline that you mentioned in training school must be very, very vital in terms of, shifting the focus for their lives. Now, we're going to open up the phone lines, 435-2041, if you have any questions as it relates to the recruitment drive that the police is now on. It's ongoing right now. And remind me of the date that the exam is going to be.
It's Saturday, 29th March, this Saturday.
This Saturday, wow, in 2 days.
Yes.
Okay, so listen, make sure you're dressed properly, you're looking professional and sharp, and you're ready for the exam. No need to walk with anything in advance, right? Just come as you are. And tell me.
Yes, so you need to walk with your ID and show you have an identification card. You need to walk with pens and pencil and erasers.
Okay.
And also, persons must take note that no electronic devices, as it relates to calculators, social media devices, are not allowed in the exam hall.
Okay. So no phones, no tablets, no laptop, okay.
So it will take the form like a normal exam, like CXC.
Okay.
Because there will be invigilators and so it will take that form. So all the procedures that relates to exam, it will be applied on that day.
Okay. Does the RRU and SSU, is that also a branch of the Royal Grenada Police Force? Okay.
Yes.
So it's an option to move in that direction. Okay.
So we're looking at different skill set as well, but we will want to do the exam. As I said, the exam may not be a total elimination process, but it's just to get a feel as to where people are at, how they're thinking, and so. And you'll be able to go to the various divisions. For example, in Coast Guard, we may look for persons who are good at swimming, right, or have some experience in maritime, so that would be an asset. So above all things, we'll be looking out for persons with these skills. We also have persons who may be you're skilled in welding, auto mechanic, and so you will be needed at the police garage. So the various divisions will be requiring various persons. SSU, RRU, or we call it the Special Services Unit. Well, it's SSU. That department comprised of various roles. So there will be persons that we were looking at to fit in these specialized areas. So the bulk of the person will go into routine, and routine meaning the police station. So we have like 4 divisions. We have Northern, Eastern, Western, right? And that program consists of the police stations where you'll be doing this work, community focus, and so. And then we have the other areas where we'll be looking for persons with these skill set that we can assign to the department. But you must go through that 6 months of training.
Okay.
And
one person here, Michael, is asking, what is the reason for the age barrier, the top end being 35? Why not beyond 35?
Well, it is in the police regulations, and the police, you have to go through a lot.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So having somebody,
you want youthful bodies.
Yes. So having somebody above that age, we may not get the best at coming in. Yes, you would grow into, but I mean, a new recruit, you have to go through all these very tough procedures.
Well, I'm just eliminated from that process.
So we want to keep it there, and to get the best use of persons when they just come in, because when they just come in, that is where the bulk of the work will be.
Right. Is this training mandatory for current officers? Because I see all shapes and sizes. So I always wonder if that continuous training is also mandatory?
It is mandatory,
Okay.
but sometimes after someone finishes their 6 months training, they have to take it upon themselves to do exercises that will help keep them fit. And also we have training at times when they have to come in and do some form of training that involves physical. So yes, it is mandatory, should be mandatory. And I know sometimes you see persons around with, maybe it might be some form of family, gene something, but yes.
But in addition to that, yes, it is mandatory because I think for promotion, when you have to move from one rank to the next, then you'll be required to do a fitness test. And even I think for some training, so you'll be required to do those fitness tests to, in order to qualify.
Of course, if you had to run behind somebody, you know what I mean?
Find some persons moving up the ranks based on how you apply yourself while in the force.
Understood. Good to know. Now, I specifically would like to know more about women in the force. You mentioned that there is a requirement for women in terms of being 5'4" for height, so you are open to having women in the force. Are the opportunities the same for women? So they go in any department that a man can go in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Same opportunity. So you get selected based on your performance.
And the physical fitness is the same as well? Wow.
Well, Commandant could speak to that.
Okay.
He has been there in the training school.
Okay.
So the physical fitness, there may be different categories scoring rate for male and female.
Okay.
Yeah, but they compete among each other, and that is the similar thing the men do. It's just that if the men have 100 push-up to do within a minute or two, then they may have 75.
Did you just say 100? Hold on.
You have to be fit.
You said 100 push-ups in 1 minute?
That is just a guideline I gave you.
It's
not a real
Oh, that's a
thing.
hypothetical
Yes,
because in
because-
my mind, you can't even do that's more than a push-up per second.
Yeah, so
it's an example.
Yes.
What do the police protect? So you've been called into whatever situation, you have to be ready because there's some tough persons outside there.
Of course.
You must be fit mentally, physically, to take on those challenges. So
how do you maintain mental fitness? Is there a specific initiative towards guiding current officers on mental health, even social health, because you want to make sure that you're not just leading the country, but you're also leading your homes in a good way? Is that an aspect that the force puts effort into as well?
Yes, so from the administration now, efforts are being made because just to let you know, it's the first time that the Royal Grenada Police Force would have a person in charge, like a civilian, because I am not a police officer. I am a civilian as a human resource manager. So whereas the force, it used to be happening before, but now emphasis with the human resource manager being there, more emphasis will be placed on these things, like the human resource aspect of the police force, because being there, it is very dynamic, and a lot of effort would be placed into operations like securing and preventing crimes, or even investigating crimes. But now, special effort will be placed on having these sessions. As we speak now, we're seeking assistance to have counselors come in to deal with officers. So, it could be done different ways, where you can have open sessions, or where persons who require that type of assistance, they can make the request, and someone will be made available for them to deal with that. So there is a drive on right now to deal with it.
Excellent initiative. Very nice. Someone is asking here, someone that's 5 feet 6 inches, can they do the exam? I'm assuming it's a man asking this question. Will that work? 5 feet 6 inches?
But
can they wear platforms? High heels?
For this process, as I said, our aim is 5 feet 8 because we're looking for a particular grouping, right? But if you're a male and you're 5'6", doesn't mean that you're totally eliminated from becoming. It's just at this point now, this is what we're aiming at, because we have a huge intake, a mass intake. So no, we want the best of it. The best meaning that with the height, Commandant will speak about the height as to why we need the height at this point. But going forward, as I said, the recruitment process will continue, and at different times, the criteria is not that we will be dropping a standard, but it will change based on what we're trying to achieve at the point.
Understood. Would you, she covered it?
Yes, and also the commissioner has the authority from the regulations to make some form of exception in terms of heights and size and so. So he can say to us, you know what, we should have at least 3 or 4 persons who may not be the height requirement, but they have other requirements that can be very important for the organization.
Remember, I spoke earlier on about the swimming and
specialization.
Right, so you might be 5'6", but you're an excellent swimmer, diver. I see what you're saying.
So on registration day, all the things will be taken into consideration in terms of for the exam, based on your interest and so.
Understood. Now, how can people get in touch with you? How can they find out more? Because they may have questions. They probably want to hear all the various locations again. How can they get in contact with the RGPF for the recruitment drive?
There is a number for the police training school. The number is 440-1610. They can call this number, and whatever questions they wish to ask, if the secretary cannot handle it, she will pass it on to one of the other other officers within the department.
And that's 440-1610.
1610.
Okay, so you can call that number. And Ms. Smart, tell us again the various places for the recruitment this Saturday.
Okay, it's at one center is at the Grenada Boys Secondary School. That's for St. George's. St. Andrews, we have St. Andrews Anglican Secondary School, and then on the west we have St. Rose Modern Secondary Schools. So persons within these areas, they can choose whichever center that they probably closest to sit the exam.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to share before leaving?
There will be another exam, hopefully following week, in Carriacou.
Okay.
Yeah, to give them the opportunity just the same on the 5th. Yes, more of it will be told, but this is the intention of the Royal Grenada Police Force to have another one at Carriacou.
Okay, and remind us of the time for Saturday at these 3 locations.
Well, registration starts at 7:30, but the exam starts at 9.
7:30 a.m. So even that is a test. I like it.
Oh, yes.
Come on time, early.
So we know persons.
And it's month 10.
So you come, you register, you relax yourself, you do your exam, and we hope for the best for everyone. But remember, it is not the end, or it will not be the end if you did not qualify this time around. But we're always open. As I said, there's always room. There's always ways to come in without going through this process now. So you can always call. You can call CRD you can call CRD, or you can call the number 440-3999.
Yes.
And then as to speak to HR or admin.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll be given the relevant information that you require.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Inspector Chris Campbell, as well as HR Manager Tashana Smart. Thank you for joining us and telling us about the recruitment drive at the RGPF.
Okay, thank you for
wishing
having
you,
us as well.
Of course, wishing you all the best on Saturday.
Thank you.
And with that, we are closing Good Morning Grenada for today, Thursday, the 27th of March, 2025, having this conversation about the police recruitment drive. And, also reminding you of our quote for today: small acts of kindness create ripples of change. Never underestimate the power of a good deed. I'm Chrislyn Lashington, or Missy Chrissy. Of course, we'll do it again tomorrow. You can tune back in. All right, have a good one.